So is sales a gift that you're born with, or is it a muscle that you can build? Is sales a skill you can learn? Well, there's two camps. One says you either have it or you don't, while the other says it's just a system that you can practice by putting in the reps. So let's break down what's actually happening, what sales should feel like, and an exact 5-step framework to fix your process one step at a time. I'm Steve Carroll. I sold $5.2 million worth of product in 2025. For the last 8 years, I've been doing B2B and B2C sales, and I went from almost getting fired to increasing my income by $130,000 in 1 year. Let's start with the born with it myth, and let's go over 4 truths that no one really tells you about in sales. Let's start with number 1. Confidence gets confused with just natural personality. The louder reps get labeled as naturals, while the more quiet reps get overlooked. You see, confidence in sales is created, not something you're born with. It's created from structure, from process, and from knowing what to do next. If you take away the structure, even the naturals fall apart. Sales isn't taught like a skill. Most reps are thrown in with a script, a quota, and a figure it out attitude. They don't get any real training on how to think under pressure, how to control tone, how to ask questions that actually move deals forward. And the problem is, when people fail at a system like that, they don't end up blaming the system. They blame themselves. I guess I'm just not a good salesperson, and that's the belief that sticks. I know this situation because I lived it in my last company I sold for in my dream sales role. I had to face a real discussion with my boss about almost getting fired and was put on a plan. Eventually, I dug myself out of that hole and was able to get myself into a position to hit over 200% of my quota. I grew my pipeline and opportunities by 3 times. I went from working 12-hour days and late nights in the city to working less than 40 hours a week. And I went on to add $130,000 to my income using the system that we're going to outline later in this video. Number 3, you only see the end result, not the reps. This is something I feel like I noticed the most when I got started. I would always see like that number 1 rep, that top performer that always made sales look so easy. They were confident, they were calm, they were always in control. What I didn't see was the bad calls, the awkward silences, the months of getting punched in the face by rejection. People assume that it's talent, not just the repetitions. Ooh, number 4, saying that sales is just something you're born with protects the ego. Believing sales is genetic is comforting, especially if you fail. You believe it wasn't you, it was the product or the customers or your company. It's the same way that people think that great closers just seem to be great talkers or great communicators. They're wrong. Talking is actually the last 5%. Practicing is the actual work. And this is where the whole confusion really starts. If you only see the results, you don't really understand the big picture of what makes someone a really great sales professional. It becomes very easy to mislabel what you're actually looking. It's not your fault, you just weren't built for it. If someone else wins, it's, oh, they just had the it factor. It was just natural to them. That mindset saves people the uncomfortable work of actually having to learn. The key to fixing this problem is to work on your skills and your competence. You can do it by putting in the work now to be successful sooner rather than later. I like to think about David Goggins when I think about these situations. He wrote a number of best-selling books, including Can't Hurt Me. And his mindset was that you build belief through repetitions. Does your script feel awkward and robotic? Read it out loud more times. Make it sound like yours. AKA, do more reps. The script's gonna end up sounding more natural as you learn it better. Don't know how to handle certain objections? Write them out one at a time and then practice handling them one at a time. So start with the first one. Every skill will become more natural and stronger as you exercise the muscle by adding repetitions. And once you see the pattern, it changes the way you see sales completely. It's a skill stack. Thinking, listening, framing, emotional control, and decision guidance. So some people start ahead, but nobody stays ahead without constant learning and training. And the reps who win in the long term, they're not the loudest. Turns out, they're just the most prepared. If sales was just something you were born with, then call reviews wouldn't work and wouldn't be necessary. But they are, and they do. Now here's the thing that most salespeople don't know. Believing that sales is something you're born with doesn't just limit your growth, but it quietly creates stress, income swings, and burnout even when you're working really, really hard. And it happens in a really predictable way. And here's the piece that most people don't connect. That belief doesn't just limit your upside. It quietly changes how sales feels every single day. Now here's the domino effect that's really happening to a lot of reps. It starts with the thought of, maybe I'm just not built for this. That thought changes how you act. Now you're catching yourself starting to pause before you have calls. You want to avoid those tough conversations. You don't practice the hard conversations because messing up would make that fear real. So you end up getting fewer repetitions in, not because you're lazy, but because your brain is trying to protect you from that feeling of negativity or that bad feeling. So now, because you have fewer repetitions, your skills are growing at a slower pace. And when you don't improve your skills, your results, you're going to notice they're going to be all over the place. Some months are going to be good, some months are going to be bad, and you're not going to know why. So that uncertainty turns into stress and anxiety. You start staring at your current pipeline as opposed to focusing on a process to bring in new, fresh opportunities. Every call starts to feel really heavy, and then every objection feels more dramatic than it actually should. Over time, that stress is going to wipe out your energy, and your customers are going to notice. And eventually, it's going to turn to burnout. Not because sales is too hard, but because you're guessing and not executing. Now, imagine this version of you instead. You get on a call without needing that other person to like you. Your mood doesn't swing based on yesterday's or last month's win or loss. You know how to handle what shows up because you've seen it before and know how to overcome it successfully. Sales stops feeling stressful and becomes clear and repeatable. Not necessarily exciting, just steady. And then something really amazing happens. You ask clearer questions, you say no faster, you don't over-explain or over-discount because you're not trying to win the call, you're just helping someone guide a decision. And it changes how people are going to respond to you. And this skill doesn't just stay in sales, it actually compounds. You speak more clearly in meetings. You negotiate without feeling like you're being rude. And this is all because you trust yourself to figure this out in real time, because you've built the systems and you have the skills. And this is the part that no one really markets. The real upside of sales isn't just the income. It's the ability to adapt to life, the ability to learn and to walk into uncertainty and not panic. Things started changing for me when I stopped chasing confidence and started building systems. The first sales system: create input goals, track them daily, vet deals early and often for quality, and finally, make sure that you've got a clear strategy, because strategy and clear intentionality always win over blind activity. So the way I won wasn't confidence, it was repetition paired with honest feedback. I did the reps, I watched the outcome, and then I adjusted. Once you do that long enough, you stop guessing, and that's what the framework is. Not motivation, and it's not hype. It's a way to remove randomness from sales, one piece at a time. Here's the 5-step framework. Don't try to fix every step of your process all at once, or you may end up worse off than you originally were. You apply these 5 steps to one stage in the process at a time. So I consider the following stages the main different parts of a sales process: cold call, discovery call, sales call, follow-up, email outreach. There are more, but these are the ones we can focus on for now. It's the same framework to fix each one, just with a little different context. Okay, here we go. Step 1 is remove randomness. Randomness is what creates stress and eats your energy away. If every call sounds different, if you personally craft every individual email, if every objection catches you off guard, you can't remove what you can't predict. So step 1 is remove that randomness. Here's a few examples. For cold calls, use the same opener. Have the same outcome goal. Ask the same 2 or 3 questions to invite the customer to express their pain. Discovery call or disco call. Each discovery call should try to diagnose the same pain every time. Each discovery call should try to uncover the same problem set every single time. Cold email. Use the same call to action, the same structure, and the same follow-up cadence. You're not trying to be clever, you're trying to be consistent. Once randomness is gone, you finally have something to build on. Step 2. Install a repeatable structure. Structure is what lets average reps beat talented ones. Here are some great examples. Your cold call may be structured like this: opener, reason for the call, question, next steps. Your sales calls might sound like context, pain, impact, and then decision process. Cold email might sound like pattern interrupt, relevance, proof, and ask. Structure doesn't limit you, it just gives you something to fall back on when all the pressure builds. Most people end up sabotaging themselves because they end up trying to fix too much all at once. Step 3, let's try to practice one variable at a time. For cold calls, try to just improve your first 10 seconds, not the entire script you use. For the discovery call, ask better follow-up questions and practice them when you're not on the call when the stakes are lower. On sales calls, practice one objection and then continue to practice that until you can do it without having to think. One variable, one muscle, and practice it until it's automatic. Doesn't matter how long it takes, but you'll know because it's going to start to feel normal. Remember, practicing without feedback creates false confidence. So this next part is going to be really important. Step 4. Keep very close track of outcomes, not feelings. Feelings lie, but data never does. Never ask yourself, did that feel good? always check in with, did it work? Cold calls. What percentage of calls got to the second question? Discovery. What percentage got you to the next meeting? Sales calls. What percentage ended with a clear decision? Outcome first, ego second. So we still have one step left to go, but these are actually techniques that I've used in my everyday life, and trust me, they absolutely work. If this is helpful to you, hit that like button so that you can continue to find this content and other people that are just like you in sales will find it too. And hit that subscribe button for more actionable tips that really work. Here we go. Step 5, let confidence be a byproduct. This is where most people get this wrong. Confidence isn't the input, it's actually the receipt. Confidence comes from structure, action, feedback, and small wins. Let's recap. Sales isn't about who you are, it's about what you practice and using systems that turn effort into leverage using the 5 steps we just went through. Step 1, remove randomness. Step 2, install a repeatable structure. Step 3, practice one variable at a time. Step 4, track outcomes, not feelings. Step 5, let confidence be the byproduct. When you trust the process, belief takes care of itself. Sales gets easier when you build the muscles that you need to succeed. If you watch this video and you start to put these steps into practice, I promise you, you're gonna find that your sales process will begin to improve faster than you think is possible, but you have to do the work. I appreciate you and all you're going through in your effort to become the best sales professional and make more money than you ever thought was possible. I'm here to help. Let me know what other content or questions that you have that you would be able to learn from, and I'm happy to share more. Let me know what other sales myths you want me to debunk for you in the comments below.